At that time, a lot of fowl used to lay out, and people knew where they were laying, and they'd watch them. And May Eve, they'd go out and they'd collect the eggs that'd be in the nest and bring them in. And in the dark of the night, then they'd go in and put them into the farmers, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Into the farmers.
Yeah.
Bales, you know.
Yeah.
Cow bales. I'm talking about where they drive the cows into, you know. And the cows would sling. If they were in calf, they'd sling. And if they didn't do that, the milk would all curdle.
Yeah.
I heard that when May Day come, or May night or whatever, they'd put the eggs down in the drill and they covered it in a little with clay. And that was the cause of bad luck for whoever owned the place, I don't know.
But sometimes if a person or the farmer's wife found the eggs in a boundary ditch that was between them and the next farm, they think that was a pretty sure somebody put them there to wish them bad luck. And they think they're going to have some bad luck in their farm, you know, somebody put they used to blame people for putting the eggs there, not the hens.
And another one was when my grandmother was very ill. She was 90-something, 91 too, when she died. And the cock crew in the door 3 times, in the kitchen door.
Yeah.
Did you hear that one?
I heard that one.
Yeah. I don't know, did you?
If the cock crows 3 times,
But he stood on the doorstep.
Oh,
And crew, yeah. She was ill at the time. But the next day she was dead.
The other stick, they said that you weren't supposed to, I never heard it about the animal, but you weren't supposed to hit a person with it or a child. The other stick. Or it shouldn't be lucky. So that and the peacock's feather. Don't you attempt to bring that inside the house. The eye and the peacock's feather. I don't know how what truth was in it, but you dared bring it in anyway. I'd bring it in with your feather.
It's supposed to be bad luck to bring the lilac in and the white thorn. Is it white thorn or black thorn? Well, it's the blossom.
The blossom, the white blossom.
The white blossom, yeah.
The other thing is the palm. I always have, after Palm Sunday, bring home the palm and leave it in the house till next year and you never have a fire in it. I've heard that. Do you bring home Palm on Palm Sunday and put it in your house?
And
always. You know,
I tie a bit up over the Sacred Heart.
And they say that you'd never have a fire.
Another bit upstairs then.
They reckon that you'll never have a fire in your house.
Yeah, no, it's the Blessed Ashes. If you bring home Blessed Ashes and keep it, you'll never have a fire.
All right.
If we brought in primroses, I remember that at home.
Yeah.
If we brought in primroses, if there was a hen hatching, you'd have to take them out. You can't have them in here. We'll have no chickens. Yeah, the hen might leave the chickens. I don't remember her leaving the chickens, but I remember having to get out my primroses.
Yeah. That's what they say, if a robin came in your window or came into your kitchen or anything, that was a death in the house. There'd be, sign of a death. And people just get scared, like,
2 years ago, last June, I was out in the garden pulling up weeds, and this robin perched in front of me and stayed. And the next thing I heard, my brother-in-law was dead in England. Just stayed with me. But I had heard about the robin before that. But that actually happened to myself 2 years ago, last June.
So it's supposed to be very bad luck to put shoes or boots, whatever, any kind of footwear on a table. That's supposed to bring bad luck.
Oh yes, you would never leave shoes on the table.
Shoes on the table, sign of a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know people sometimes when they wash their feet late at night, they would not throw out the water that they washed their feet in. It's supposed to be bad luck. They'd leave it until the morning to throw it out. You know, the way they have bases of buckets for washing their feet.
Around here, most people would say to you, if you're going to move house, move on a Friday. Even if you just sleep there on the Friday night, and even if you have to move your furniture at another time, if you have everything else in another day, but really it's best to sleep your first night in a new house on a Friday.
Thou shalt not walk on the Sabbath day was the great commandment, and if you wanted to save your hair and there was storm due on Monday or Tuesday, you had to go to the parish priest, and if he says no, you haven't got permission to walk on a Sunday, you let your hair go rotten in the field.
I remember my uncle and my aunt, now they were quite superstitious, and my uncle wouldn't take money for cattle on any Monday, and then my aunt sometimes might send me up with the money to him.
And you had to come back with it again, would you?
But he took it then, but he wouldn't want to take it, he'd be mad over it,
Yeah.
you know. But she'd say, I'll send you up with the money now today to make to see, you know. But she wouldn't take money herself on a Monday, she would wait until Tuesday to get it, they wouldn't take it.
Yeah,
Don't pay out on a
pay out
Monday.
on Monday, yeah.
Because if you pay out, that's, what did you say?
You'll be paying out for the rest
Yeah.
of the year, yeah.
That's,
Or be losing money.
oh, what Monday is it? Hansel Monday.
Yeah.
That's Hansel Monday. The first Monday of the year is Hansel Monday. And you don't pay anybody. Let them go to hell or high water, but you don't pay them anyway on Hansel Monday.
They wouldn't sell the cattle on a Sunday, but they would on a weekday. Yeah.
Well, this man was a pig dealer, and he went out of a Sunday and picked up a couple of pigs, and where he had the place rented, he was putting them in until he had so many to take off to the factory. So when he put them in, he broke his leg, and that was of a Sunday. He'd done his first Sunday and his last Sunday, but the man is dead now.
But they recommend that you don't get married on a Friday. Yeah, and that a double wedding is not lucky. That's a thing round here. People say a double wedding is not lucky to have a double wedding, and don't get married on a Friday.
Married in May and you'll rue the day. Did you ever hear anyone getting married in May?
No.
I didn't anyway.
Oh, they are now, aren't they? I think there was one. Was there one? No, there's one coming off now, and this is the month of May. I heard that some people now, if they happen to say, got to have this inside out, you know, the jacket. Leave it as it is, that's for luck. Leave your jacket inside out. And go off it. Yeah, leave it like that. Who's looking at you? Leave your jacket for luck.
If you put your clothes on inside out, you leave them on inside out, because if you turn them the right way, your look is gone.
Imagine going to Mass now with your coat turned inside out.
The other thing I just bring to mind there about good luck and bad luck. If you were walking towards a funeral, no matter whose funeral it was, you always had to stop and turn and at least walk 3 steps with it. And then, otherwise you'd never have any luck if you didn't walk at least 3 steps with the funeral. Total strange funeral. Even in a city like Cork City, in the centre of the city, you turn around in Partle Street and you go, I used to do it, you go at least 3 steps with the funeral and then you turn around and go about your business.
If you've seen a red-haired woman first thing in the morning, you can go home and go to bed.
That's right, yeah.
The Lord of Mercy.
Fish
Mary
Hall.
Hall.
Mary
You know, Mary Hall, the Lord of Mercy.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Mary was as red as fire, wasn't she?
She was, definitely, yeah.
Oh, we wouldn't have a bit of luck for the day. Oh, go away. You needn't do anything today.
Red hair.
Mary Hall was the first woman you met today.
Yes,
Jesus,
that's right.
tonight, weren't they terrible fish hooks?
Oh, they were.
Of course, there was a lot of them through.
It's always supposed to be unlucky to meet a woman on the road with red hair first thing in the morning.
Well, I'm telling you, she'd tell you something, a thing or two today, and
She
Tuesday
would,
that
I tell you. No, it was very unlucky to meet a woman with red hair on your road early in the morning, wherever you were going, a fair or anything.
And there was this man coming to my home playing the violin, and he used to go fishing. But he used to say to my mother, if I met a red-haired woman, she said, I turn back, because she said I would catch one.
Turn back, yes, she'd bring bad luck.
Yeah, she'd bring back bad luck.
If ever you were given a purse to somebody, or if they won a purse here, we'd have to put a couple of cents in it.
Never put anything in anyone I bought here.
Do you hear? You'd have to put something in. It's a look penny, they call it, you know. So even a couple of weeks ago, a woman brought me back a little purse that she won. She said there was no money in it. She said, here, you have to put something in it. So they believe that it's, you know, you'll never be short if you win a purse and there's a few pence in it.
I was working with a farmer when I was young, and when they'd be churning the butter, maybe the housewife would be maybe churning for a half an hour, no sign of the butter, the cream breaking. So they would shout at me, Tom, come in and give the churn a turn. And always, when they claimed I was lucky, immediately I'd touch it, the cream would break and it turn into butter.
Yeah, I suppose people used to make their own butter that time. And at that time then someone might want to have more profit from their cows or something, and they'd bury some butter in your fields, and then you'd be supposed to lose the milk, and they'd be supposed to gain a lot of milk from it, you know, or whatever.
If you came out in the morning and you were going out to your what you call milking parlour to milk your cows, and there was some milk splashed up your door frame of your milking parlour, that was a pre-showed that somebody had gone in, and that was to put a curse on your cows. So a lot of your cows dried up and your milk yield went down if somebody put that pre-showed on you.
I still bring out we used to wash the garden even and shake it, the Easter water.
Yeah, that's
and,
right.
And we used to shake it on the cows going out after milking. And I lived in the country as well, the cows.
I didn't live in the country till I came to Banter, but
when they were going out, they'd be going out on grass for the first day. They'd be after being in all the winter, and we'd shake the Easter water on them.
Yeah.
You blessed everything with the Easter water, yes, and you blessed the cows calving, as I said, and pigs with the bonnets and everything like that. And as well as that, you brought out the blessed candle and put the sign of the cross on the cow's back. Do you remember doing that?
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
When she was having a cough, they put the sign of the cross with the candle grease, the blessed candle grease.
And that Easter water will be preserved until May Eve. And on May Eve, mostly the woman of the house would go out around and sprinkle a sprinkle of water on the corner of every field. Now, if they had a lot of land and a lot of fields, then what they would do is they would go to the four corners of their farm and they would sprinkle the water on it. And it would have to be done before 12 o'clock on May Eve, 12 o'clock at night, midnight on May Eve.
But my mother used to do it around the house, down the house, and the four corners, back and front and inside.
Yeah.
And I still keep it up. People would be, I suppose, laughing at you, but I still keep it up, sprinkling. Yeah.
I even done it this year.
Yeah, I did it.
I do it every year.
Yeah.
The four corners of the place and the four corners of the house.
Yeah.
Every year I do it.
We had to have 3 meals of nettles in the month of May, otherwise you could get anything during the year. I usually boil them now too, in the month of May. They're lovely.
The iron, there's a huge iron content.
Huge iron.
It was a great thing to eat a lot of eggs on Easter Sunday morning. And people who didn't have chickens, and town people, like when I lived in the town most of my life, we didn't have chickens, so we didn't steal eggs or buy eggs. What we did, we went out the country a bit and we stopped at different farms. And you'd say, I'm collecting a few eggs for Easter, and they'd give you a couple of eggs. And you'd probably come home with about 2 dozen eggs, and everybody'd have a great feed in the morning.
All around the country, we collected eggs for Easter as a custom.
It was, yeah, the people would make a present to people with eggs, you know. Give a present of a half a dozen eggs or whatever they had that come along with them. Yeah.
And they boiled a pot of eggs Easter morning, and everybody in the house would eat as many eggs as they could.
Yeah, they weren't thinking of cholesterol
I
then
remember
times.
now, as my brother would boil a whole pot of eggs, and one of my brothers, he might eat 5 or 6 eggs.
Yeah, there you are.
And we used to go to a holy well at Easter, you know, and you'd make a wish. Myself and my sister used to go to it. Yeah.
There's a well in Mitchellstown called St. Fanahan's Well, and they have the patron day on the 25th of November every year. And people go down there and pray. A lot of people go down there as well to pray for cures. And there's supposed to be an eel in the well. And if you see the eel, you're supposed to get cured. But if not, you don't. But then in olden days, my father told me that someone they disrespected the well in some way. I think they washed dirty clothes in it. They knew to the holy well and trod up in Briggown, and it moved back down to where it is now. It's not far from the church in Mitchellstown.
The only thing, there was a sandpit near the holy well now where we were in Kilshan, and the men were working, and they went down there, they were boiling potatoes, and they went down there and put that water, the holy water, on the thing, and you know that the fire made on the outside, but it never boiled.
There was an old saying that if you suffer from shingles, cattle's blood. That cattle's blood was the mother and father had to be the same name. They both meant to be cattles. They were pure cattle, and the blood from the children of that family would be cure for shingles.
Well, I was taught that if you went out in the maids, you were barefoot, without any shoe, that is good for your feet. That's what I heard.
Well, they said it was good for your feet to walk in the dew. They still do.
At any time?
Yes, any time. It's good to walk in the dew.
I remember when we go to school, if we'd warts, my mother used to tell us to go to the well and to wash our hands or whatever, and that the warts would go.
Well, you just take up the snail and say to him, "Shellicky, shellicky, bogey, put out your horns," and when he would, you'd rub him on the wart.
But some of these old stains are still going on, because I only got the jingles less than 4 years ago, and everybody says to me, "Go down to Mrs. Carroll. She's a nurse and she draws blood off her husband and gives it to people to spread on their shingles." But I don't believe in these old superstitions very much, so I went to the doctor instead.
And there was another thing in May. Do you know what a fort is? Them bushes all around.
Yeah.
My grandmother used to take us down every Saturday in May, me and my sister. Now I used to break out the terrible rash all around there. And we used to say the decade of the roads, the whole rosary right around these trees. And you go over, there was a holy well there, and you rubbed a drop of the water to you, and you put on a bit of a rag or whatever, pitch or anything.
I
never got it back after.
They said you couldn't meddle with a fort at all, and that if you took anything out of it, I think my father said he knew people that didn't meddle with him or do some cut down trees or something, and that they didn't live long afterwards, you know. It was supposed to be very unlucky, and no one would go near anything in a list, you know. They wouldn't touch stones or anything like that out of it at all.
And tell you, they wouldn't build anywhere where there was a fort. Any field as a fort, and they never touched it. They didn't plough it nor build. They done nothing in that field. That field was always for grazing.
Well, the only thing I know about it is that they advise you never to build on the fairy path, because you'd never have any luck. But I heard stories about people who started to build a house, and when they came in the following morning to continue with the building, the part they'd put up had been demolished during the night. But whether it was the fairies or people jealous of them having a new house, I don't know, might have knocked it down in the night time, but they always said it was the fairies who knocked it down anyway, and then they'd build a house somewhere else. If the fairies knocked their house down, they wouldn't rebuild it in the same spot. They'd move away a bit, so they'd be off the fairy path then.
And another thing about the fort is that you should never cut them down.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, because the man that owned the field lived a bit away from us, and he got the workman to do it, and he did not live long after that either. Not the workman, the man that told him to cut the limb off of the fort bush.
There's there's an old abbey up in Cahir Abbey.
Yeah.
And there is a graveyard around it, but underneath it there is a monk's graveyard. The monks are buried there, any of them that died during the reign of it, they're buried underneath.
Yeah.
And if you go down in there, oh yes, Kennedy's knocked down whatever ruin was left there.
And they built a piggery.
Built a piggery for 30 or 40 pigs over it. They didn't a pig thrive, they all died, and something happened to them.
They're all gone now, of course. The
Kennedys are all wiped out now.
Yeah, and that lot in here.
Well, Pat Nugent's father now, he cut a jack bush before and he lost his finger.
So people put it down to that.
They were afraid of it. But he lost his finger anyway, he got blood poison, the finger had to be taken off. So they blamed that for it, but I don't know.
The she gear in the fields. I know that's what month it is, the hay, I think you heard it tell you that, didn't you, May? The hay, a cock of hay could be often shifted out of a field, and they used to say to us, and you should keep out of the way. If you were in the field, you'd see that happening, and to whirl around, it could be shifted into another field. And you'd be supposed to, if it was happening, I used to hear him telling this in the house of the music, lie down and let it go of you. Yeah. Because the fairies, they take you, cock a hay and all. Oh God, I'm telling that now, of course, a lot of the people, they say a lot of crap.